Like, he looks like the avatar of every person who's screaming at Ilhan Omar on Twitter.
Or Colin Kaepernick.
And the thing is, like, he doesn't stay long enough at the fire department to get his pension fully vested. So he essentially retires early. He doesn't look that old. He's like probably late 40s at most.
No, he looks like my age, dude. Like he like this guy retired in his 30s.
And all he retires and he thinks, well, all right, what am I going to do with the rest of my life now? Well, I'm going to fix up the boat and throw the frisbee at the lake with the wife. But he can't even do that. And it's like, he stays up all night because he's having these horrible dreams. Wife's ready to go to the lake, day 2 of retirement. Can't even do that. The movie's depiction of what that life is like, after you stop working and have someone to tell you what to do, is so bleak to me that no wonder all of these people became posters. Like, no wonder they all just got into QAnon shit and MAGA shit. Like, why not? What else are you going to do? And that's exactly what he does. He starts posting.
But like in a physical journal, though. It's not like he doesn't share it with the internet initially.
Not yet,
He starts writing down all his dreams in a journal. And then, like, I think at one point they recommend that he go on antidepressants. And I swear to God, and then he's like, they put him on SSRIs. And then at one point, like, he wakes up in the middle of a cold sweat and he's like, I'm not taking the pills anymore. And Felix was like, yes.
Well, yeah, no,
yes.
I have my problems with the politics of this movie, but its overall message that SSRIs are bad because they'll prevent you from having the Trump prophecy is true. It is true. This has been studied in medical journals. 0% of people who take SSRIs have had the Trump prophecy.
But
Zero.
What I find interesting is that the guy who plays the lead role of Mark Taylor, it seems like him, the actor, like as a person, was like, I don't know, just like whacked out on, like, he just like has no affect. Like, he's just like the blankest person. He's
like the prototype of a guy who like kills the mayor of his town because he thought God was talking to him. Like, that's the exact type of guy who's like, they'll be like, one of those states you never hear about. They'll be like, do you know the governor of Arkansas died in a sword attack in 2011? You'd be like, what the fuck? And it's just a totally flat person like that killed him.
So yeah, he's not doing shit, doesn't have a job, spends all day looking at a digital alarm clock and having nightmares about a fire demon / Muhammad. It's sort of like a Muslimic style demon.
Now the Muslimic people, they have a strong spiritual connection to fire, and they can project these into the dream realm. If you do not pray, the prayer is like a border wall between your dreamland and Muhammad.
Dream warriors. Oh, at one point he does encounter an angel that appears to him like an orb.
I will say that no, that's biblically correct. Mm-hmm. That was surprisingly biblically correct for evangelicals. I was very proud of them. That is how angels
depicting angels just like a glowing orb.
In the Bible, that's what they are. They're just like glowing. They're orbs.
They're orbs.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, no, that's how angels be.
When did they start describing angels as having like wings and halos and shit?
After you guys picked up all that Roman bullshit.
So, okay, at this point though, his wife suggests that, finally that, he see a doctor. And then like there's a scene of him seeing it's not really clear. He's seeing like his doctor / pastor. And it seems like he's getting CAT scan results.
He talks to the doctor and says, "Oh, we just got your test results in, and you're low T."
No, he says that you have the hormones of a 70-year-old. So he's like extremely T depleted.
But
so
this
have
never
you?
Comes. This never. By the way, there's never a callback to his T levels again in the movie. There's just a one-off scene where his pastor is like, yeah, dude, you're a fucking pussy.
Oh, he also said your adrenal gland is like depleted, so he needs some of that cheese pizza adrenochrome.
And we're trying to figure out who this guy is because he's just a guy in a suit in
it's
nondescript office.
Not a doctor's office. It looks like a minister's office, with
right?
And then dark wood.
And then he says,
and shit.
have you considered praying? It's just like talking to God.
But like,
let me write you a prescription for 20 cc's of prayer.
No, but he's like talking to this guy, and we assume was his pastor, who's like, we're working on your spiritual health, Mark. And then he's just like, I'm looking at these CAT scan results, and they're not good. What is going?
But I think you had a good point though about what doctors are like in Middle America, because there are no Jewish doctors, no Jewish or Indian doctors or Chinese doctors. It's just all local shit kickers who are like, yeah, I'm a doctor.
So like, okay, so then the pastor doctor like refers him to another doctor, and here's where the story really takes off. He refers him to the office of Dr. Colbert, who, from as best I can tell, again based on a real person, who is like a dietitian.
Yeah, he has keto diet shit in his office.
Like there are scenes in the movie where like positioned in between them as they're having a conversation is like a nice display table featuring the keto diet by Dr. Colbert, like it's an ad, like native advertising in the movie. And he's also like a half spiritual doctor. My vision of this is like, is this what medical care is like in the parts of the country where like there are no Jewish or South Asian doctors? There's not some like incredibly competent like like immigrant guy who's like a heart surgeon or whatever, or just like the classic Jewish doctor. Is it like, do these people have medical degrees?
I want to make a movie about like where the worst Jewish doctor from New York moves to Missouri. Like they punish him by relocating to Missouri, and he's just the best doctor they've ever seen.
Yeah.
The patients are like, "Oh no, you're gonna tell me to pray again." He's like, "What?"
Very my cousin Vinny.
Yeah, he's like, "What?" Yeah, but it's not. It's not through street smarts. It's just through basic medical knowledge. He's like, "We need to like disinfect the needles we use. Can't like pray over them."
And then at one point, he comes back from the prayer or keto doctor, and his wife's like, "How'd it go?" And he's just like, "Well, he's carrying 2 jugs of water in each hand," and he goes, "Well, the doctor told me to drink all this filtered water," and we were like, first of all, like filtered water, that's just like getting a Brita filter. I think he meant distilled water, and this doctor told him to drink 2 gallons of distilled water.
Yeah, this is basically like the better doctor he went to is basically like he met a Christian at GNC. It's the same effect.
So he's getting medical results, and then like he basically says to his prayer doctor, like, I think God is telling me something with these nightmares. And again, his doctor is like, I think you may be onto something. Do you mind if I tell my wife about this?
It should be clear over here. He is originally in this how the sequence works. He's in a waiting room that could be like a doctor's office waiting room.
People in scrubs. And
yeah. And then he walks through the door, and then it cuts to a room in a clearly different building. That's just. It's like a psychiatrist's office, or no, it's like the set of a talk show, and there's just a big bookshelf with laid out this, con artist fucking diet books.
So he gets his distilled water diet, but like it really takes off when Dr. Colbert, at some point in like the plot of this movie, again, it's impossible to tell how time passes. It begins around 2005, and then he first has his prophecy in 2011, and then he writes it all down and then gives it to the doctor like after Mitt Romney loses to Obama. And then his doctor is like, I think there may be something here. Do you mind if I consult my wife on this? She's also a crackpot, unlicensed spirit witch doctor.
Yeah, my wife actually works at Vitamin Shop. Yeah. I'm the manager of this GNC. My wife's the manager of Vitamin Shop. Together, through our expertise, we're gonna figure something out.
And there was the funniest part in that scene. He was like, "Do you mind if I show this to my wife?" And he was like, "Well, sure, if you think it'll help." And he's like, Mary, could you come in here? Like, and then she just walks in the room, like she's just working out front as his receptionist or something.
Well, okay. So in Middle America, the guy, like the doctor at the he's like the lord of the hospital, and then your wife. It's like that guy was one of the lords of the firehouse, and his wife was a lady of the firehouse.
This is why all of these people are afraid of socialized medicine, because they think it means you won't be able to see your local crank doctor anymore. Like, I won't be able to see Dr. Johnson. He rides a horse.
Well, good. That's why.
No. We should let there should be an opt out for Medicare for all, and it should be like, if you want to see your doctor who tells you have to like do half of Seder to cure your cancer. If you want to see your doctor who's like, yeah, you just have to just walk into any bar mitzvah and touch the boy reading the Torah. Just touch him on the top of his head, and you'll gain his power, and you'll have no more shingles. Like, that's fine. If you want to see the doctor who sees you with his wife, like his wife cups one ball and he cups the other, that's fine. You don't have to be in Medicare for all. You can still pay that guy out of pocket. There should be crank insurance.
Yeah.
Like, that's what private insurance should cover.
Right. It should be, right. United should only cover just like complete quacks. Fucking psychos who make you go on keto when you're 90.
I just love that guy
fine.
who's been having a mental breakdown for the past 10 years, has received zero adequate treatment for whatever schizophrenic break he's currently having because of the fire he encountered that one time. And I just love the idea of like he's getting CAT scans or whatever, and the guy's looking at it and he's like, I've been reading your diary while looking over at your medical charts. My wife teaches pottery at the local community college. You mind if she takes a look at these brain X-rays?
All right. So on one hand, this says that your hormone, like your near fatal hormone
Your
catastrophe,
thyroid is
and
cratering,
and you have a tumor. But also, my wife has an Etsy, and we think you may be a prophet of God. So let's split the difference. Drink this water, okay, and let's wait to see if Donald Trump becomes president.
So
okay, sounds good.
Yeah, I don't want to take those doctors away from anyone.
So yeah, again, like the action in the movie really starts about an hour in, where the dietitian gives his wife a like manuscript copy of this guy's insane ramblings that he's been like scribbling in a fucking diary, after 10 straight years of night terrors, and she reads it and she's like, I think there's something here.
The funny thing
This is a commander-in-chief prophecy, and it just has that rhythm that the Holy Spirit has, is what she says.
You only ever hear like 2 lines from the fucking prophecy, and they are Donald Trump president ?
And the line about, as Benjamin Netanyahu is to Israel, so too will this man be for America. That line is repeated 3 times in this movie.
Damn, that's good writing.
Yeah, and he is what Netanyahu is to Israel. Like, they both have sons that we like. They both have cool sons.
They both have cool sons. They're both definitely not corrupt and under 1 million investigations.
Yeah.
And they're widely loved by everyone.
Oh, they both
everyone
lost
loves
the
them.
popular vote.
Yeah, that's true. Did Netanyahu would lose a popular vote? Well, I mean,
No,
there's so many different parties. It's not like he got
Yeah.
like a majority. Of
Nobody
anyone.
gets more than like
Yeah.
20%.
Yeah.
And then I think at one point, like the big climax to the ex-firefighter story is the demon visits him, and like he sort of has an out-of-body experience where like he drifts up above himself while he's praying and fights the demon above his body floating in the bedroom by doing spirit writing, and writes like, no weapon formed against me shall prosper. That cool line from
Yeah,
the Bible.
fans of the show Ghost Rider will appreciate this callback.
And again, like I was just seeing this shit is like in the colonial era and like early modern Europe and shit, where people would have like witch panics and people would go insane and like see the devil. And like there was like widely known phenomenon of like ergot poisoning, where like crops would be get like a fungus that would cause hallucinations and madness when ingested. And I just felt like this was like the modern suburban equivalent of that. Like we're gonna find out that like Bedford, Harts, Minnesota, or Missouri, where I guess the movie's supposed to take place, was like under a giant seam of methane gas or
Yeah.
something that was leaking into everyone's homes.
It's very so. Our conclusion upon watching this movie is that probably about like at least 60 million Americans are just completely fucking insane.
Yeah.
They're
At
just
least that.
totally insane, and they think that like all their friends, like they think there's like a 50% chance of anyone they know being a prophet of God, but their prophecies are all like, ooh, I think God is telling me that Herman Cain is going to be on the Fed governor's board. Like when the Chinese finally rescue the world, save us from global warming, and this is just like a colony of China, and they're studying us in 300 years, what used to be here. They're going to exhume like a skeleton from like suburban St. Louis or something, and they'll be like, oh my God, there were so many tumors in these brains. Like I would say like about 30% of Americans have debilitating tumors that make them think that they're regularly visited by demons and angels, and that like their doctors clearly aren't helping. Their doctors are all people who are on like the Jim Baker show, who are like, oh, I got just the thing for you. 6 minute abs gets rid of leukemia like that.
Like,
And and we're the most powerful country in the world, in the history of the
The
world.
wealthiest country too.
No,
The
we
most
can-
technologically advanced country.
We can vaporize the planet like 20 times over, and like about 30% of people are just beyond schizophrenic.
Like I
Just
said,
beyond. Like this is just something else. I don't know what the fuck this is. Like you have to see the parts in this movie where this guy, he should probably like under like an objective board of experts would look at this guy's life and be like, this guy should kill himself. Until he's like, he just watches TV once and is like, Donald Trump's going to be president, and that wills him to live. And every medical expert he goes to is like,
confirms this.
yeah, and that's it. That's like the country that can kill all the other countries. That's awesome. I love that. That's great.
Wait, I looked up the the diet doctor that the film is based on, Don Colbert. I looked up one of his books, and it's called here "The 7 Pillars of Health: The Natural Way to Better Health for Life." This is a New York Times bestseller with over 300,000 copies sold. And it says, what is the status of your health? What if in just 50 days you could experience more energy, feel better, look better, decrease your stress, prevent diseases, be more efficient in your work, and enjoy your day? Would you?